coming back. They think they can have a good game tonight. They told me no running tonight. I don't really type of believe him, but he said he's going to beat a lot of balls thrown in the air tonight.
Well, they do have an injury, but Keith Strazzeri, I understand, is back. He did not play last week against North Quincy, and Joe Donovan. So they've got a couple of good people that can run with the football.
Well, I expect Joe Donovan to have a good ball game tonight.
All right, so we'll be talking to you, Mike, throughout the course of the game as the Weymouth the Weymouth Wildcats have made their way. They used to be the Maroons back when there was Weymouth North and Weymouth South High School. They kept the maroon and gold colors, but have changed the nickname. They adopted the nickname that belonged to Weymouth South High School, and that was the Wildcats. They're in their road uniforms, maroon pants, white jerseys with maroon numbers and the maroon helmets. And we're awaiting the Quincy presidents to come out, and they do. So we'll have the toss of the coin coming up in just a moment. We'll take another 60-second timeout. You're listening to football here on WJDA. Back in a minute. Okay, you're back up.
John Green. Captains approaching the field. For Weymouth, number 14, Mark Stanton. 23, Manny Fernandez. Adam Good, number 40. Joe Donovan, 45. The Quincy captain, 53, Mike Kavanaugh. 34, Noel Devana. 42, Dave Bogan. 22, Robbie James. The referee wearing the white cap is Bill Weymouth. The umpire is Robert Dalton.
Are out on the field, and the captains are at the 50-yard line for Quincy. Robbie Kane, Noel Dabana, Dave Bogan, and Mike Kavanaugh. For Weymouth, Mark Stanton, Manny Fernandez, Adam Good, and Joe Donovan. They are doing the introductions of the officials, and we will be getting underway with football in just a moment here on AM 1300 WJDA. And Quincy has won the toss. They have elected to receive. They will go on offense. Weymouth will kick off and defend the south goal. That's the goal to our right here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Well, Tom Fitzgerald, if anyone had said at the beginning of the year that between these two teams they'd have 2 wins, you'd probably want to institutionalize that person. What do you look for tonight's game?
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, Charlie. You know, we're expecting this to be a big game as far as the league was concerned, but each team comes in with only 1 victory, and both coaches are certainly disappointed in their seasons so far. However, Quincy always gets up for Weymouth, and Weymouth always gets up for Quincy. What I think you'll see tonight, I think you'll see quickly Weymouth opening up with their passing game. Stanton is a great passer. He's been shut out in the last few games. He really hasn't come through like they expected this year, but I think you'll see Weymouth put that ball in the air. And of course, Quincy is big. They're strong. They want to utilize their running game. They don't have a great passing game. They've got an inexperienced quarterback, and they've got 2 of the best running backs probably in the South Shore. in Bogan and DeBona. So I think, and of course they got a great wide receiver in Kane, and we'll probably see one of those wide receiver matchups tonight between Kane and Fernandez again. So you know, I think both of these teams have been struggling, but you know, this is a crucial game. And as you said, I thought the beginning of the season this would be a game that would turn the whole season around for both teams. And we'd have a crowd here of about 10,000 people. But we got a pretty good crowd here, and the interest is still within the school systems themselves and the teams themselves. But it's kind of lost its fan appeal right now, because down in North Quincy down in Weymouth last week, we saw a big turnout of North Quincy fans, and the old ad is when your team is winning, people support you.
Well, good crowd here on both sides, but certainly room for you if you're listening and want to come out to the football game. And Weymouth will kick off. As we said, the wind is blowing pretty much a south to north pattern right now. As I look out at the flag, it's still, but trust me, folks, it was blowing south to north. And apparently we're not going to have a national anthem. No band here, apparently. So we're going to get right underway. Mike Taylor will kick it off, and it's Robbie Kane and Noel DeBona for the Quincy High School President's Deep. And we get the kick. And it's going to be Noel DeBona at the 20 to the 25, looking for a block from Kane. Gets it to the 30, up to the 39-yard line, and it will be first down for the Quincy Presidents. Scott Gerard making the stop for the Weymouth Wildcats.
You know, one thing just to mention quickly before we get really in this game, Joe Kelly, talking with him over the years, and one of the announcers down there talking before the game. Joe Kelly always fears Quincy High School. It's a nemesis with him. You ask him, who's the toughest team in the league, and he's like Quincy High School. So let's see what happens.
I with a slot. Bartlett calling signals. Pitch to DeBona up over the 40 to about the 43-yard line. Good second effort from Noel DeBona, getting some yardage. Jim Taylor making that stop for the Weymouth Wildcats. It's been a few weeks since we've seen Mike Bartlett, but Coach Jack Raymer says he has improved every week and is coming on and has matured as a quarterback. The junior signal caller took over in week 2 and has held the spot ever since. Man in motion, Brian Clifford, and the handoff to Bogan. Dave Bogan gets over the 45 to close to the 46-yard line. It's going to set up third down, and let's see where they mark it, at the 46. And it'll be third down and about 3 for the Quincy Presidents.
Well, Quincy's run off tackle right and off tackle left, so they're just testing that line, just a power off tackle, come running out of a nice set they have. And here they are out of a divide, full house backfield motion.
Bogan goes in motion. Kane out wide, pitch to DeBona, goes outside, he's to the 50 into Weymouth territory, and he's got the first down as he goes off left tackle for first down yardage. And the stop made by Joe Donovan of the Weymouth Wildcats. First and 10, first down of the football game, and it belongs to Quincy.
Well, that's a good sign as far as Quincy's concerned tonight. They came right out and they tested the Weymouth defense. Weymouth's in a 5. They sent the linebackers a couple of times, but right then and there, DeBona's picking up the big tough yardage.
From the Wildcat 49, first and 10, I formation. Pitch to DeBona. Bogan gives him a block out in front. He's in trouble. He gets to the 49 to about the 48-yard line. As DeBona was looking for people out in front to block, Bogan gave him a block, and nobody else was out there. And Adam Good and Brian Scott took him down after gaining just a yard. It's going to be second down and 9 for Quincy.
Well, Weymouth was sitting there waiting for that sweep. It's a quick pitch out. It's a sweep of one-man blocking, but Weymouth had great pursuit. They had half the team over there ready to run right off to the sideline, so they were waiting for that play. 2 receivers
split wide to the left. And Kane out in the left flat. He gets the quick pass. 45, 40, 35, 30. It's a foot race. Robbie Kane going down the sideline. 10, 5, and Robbie Kane with a
Great start here for Quincy.
Noel DeBona will try and put the 7th point through the uprights. The Weymouth line moving up, ball down, kick up, long enough, high enough, and it is good. 7:32 to go, first quarter at the stadium. It's Quincy 7, Weymouth nothing. Yes. by a score of 7-0. And now the Weymouth Wildcats will get their first shot at the ball. Mike Taylor is the deep man as Noel DeBona will kick it off. So I'm sure Coach Jack Raymer very pleased to see his team come out.
Certainly
and
is. That's
start.
a lift. That's a really morale lift. And Quincy can now dig in and start playing some real good football. That's going to really boost them around. That was a well-executed play, and I'm sure that's what Jack wants to do. He wants to get that ball to Kane, either pass it or run it or get it to him in some fashion, and he sure picked the right fashion that time.
As DeBona puts his foot into the ball, high end-over-end kick, and it's going to be taken at the 20, up to the 30, and to the 32-yard line. Steve Karasi, who was out injured last week, but back in the ball game this week for the Weymouth Wildcats, and Weymouth will start at their own 32-yard line. Tom, the key to this game for Weymouth certainly has to be the offensive line. Last week, the offensive line had a tough time against the North Quincy defense and really did not give Mark Stanton much to work with.
Well, they were outplayed last week, but I'm sure that they've had a few good words from the coaches this week and probably in the pits working hard.
1st and 10, Stanton calling signals, looks out, throws the ball, and it is complete after being batted down. And it was caught and returned just about to the line of scrimmage by Mike Taylor as one of the Quincy linemen got his hand on it and deflected the ball.
I don't know that play. I don't think did they have an extra man in the backfield besides the quarterback? If they did, they had to move way up tight. And they had 3 people outside. It was an odd formation there.
Yeah, they're very tight. Yet just one man in the backfield and very tight in the line. And Stanton keeps the ball, and we get a penalty flag thrown. And it looked to me like the left end went off a little too quickly, but it may not be because it was thrown almost as the play was being whistled dead. We'll see what the call is. As we await the call, and grabbing the face mask against Quincy.
Now here is what Quincy has to stop doing, has to stop picking up these small, kind of offside, not malicious penalties, but these penalties where they've been shooting themselves in the foot all year long, and they've got to stop that, especially against a team like Weymouth.
Well, instead of 3rd and 10, it's now 2nd down again and 5. From the Weymouth 36-yard line, they send 2 receivers to the left, pitch it to the back, who is hit at the 37-yard line. Joe Donovan knocked off his feet by David Bogan of the Quincy Presidents and Noel DeBona. So no gain, and it will be 3rd down and 5 for the Weymouth Wildcats.
Well, I tell you right now, Quincy's a spirited team. They're playing with a little inspiration there tonight. They really picked their game up a notch. I think they're really hungry to win this ball game. So I think Weymouth is. I think Joe is right when he says, "I hate to play against Quincy. They always get up for us," and I think that Quincy's up tonight. 2
wide receivers and a wing right. Stanton looking to pass, throws the ball, and he rifles it in the vicinity of Roy Ward at the 42-yard line, and it was a bullet that, as it left the gun, I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. I couldn't see it going through the air. One thing I did see, though. One thing I did see was that Quincy's defensive line was just pushing the Weymouth offensive line right back into the quarterback's face. He didn't roll out. He just took a couple of steps to his right and let the ball go. Right in his face.
That was thrown so hard, Jerry Rice would have caught that.
I didn't see it, really.
My word. Boom, and it was by. DeBona and Kane are back. Stanton will punt it away. And it's off the side of his foot, takes a Weymouth bounce taken by DeBona at the 25-30, up the sideline, clothesline, and he is bumped out of bounds by Stanton at about the 43-yard line. So Quincy will start at their own 43, 5:34 to go first quarter. It's Quincy 7, Weymouth nothing, back in 30 seconds.
57 yards.
And we just missed a touchdown as Robbie Kane hauled in a pass for 57 yards, and Quincy has stretched the lead to 13-0 as Bartlett just fired back, and Kane had beaten the defense, and it was see you later.
Yeah, he just took it. He didn't stride. He just outran the defense completely. They just left him in the dust, and Bartlett just laid it up, and Kane just took it over his left shoulder right in stride, Charlie, and marched in that goal line. I mean, this is a real surprise turnaround tonight. They really have struck twice when they've had this football, and I think Weymouth is kind of shaking their head. So here goes the extra point. It can be 14.
Devana looking to add the 14th point on the board. Ball down, kick is up long enough, high enough into the MBTA bus yard over the scoreboard. It's good. So Quincy has stretched its lead. It is 14-0 as they lead the Weymouth Wildcats, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Let's go down to the field and Mike Tucker.
Charlie, the hitting down here on the field is unbelievable. Quincy is like a wake-up call. They've been playing great all day, and they're beating Weymouth at their own game, the passing game tonight.
All right, thank you much, Mike. It has to be, and looking over, Tom, at the far sideline, it looks like a stunned group of Weymouth Wildcats looking in.
They sure are. Their heads are down there. They're scratching their head, one and really in shock over there. You know, Ollie, this is Quincy had a great reputation the beginning of the year. Everybody was expecting great things out of them, and they were doing great things in preseason practice. And, you know, this is the team that I think that everybody's been looking for out here tonight. That's what they're showing, and this maybe, as he just said, is the wake-up call. And you know, Quincy hasn't played good ball. Let's be honest about it, and they're certainly just up for this game. And let's see what they can do now.
Noel Devana end over end, and it's taken at the 8-yard line at the 20 to the 25, and tripped down is Mike Taylor, and he was tripped up by David Bogan for the Quincy President. So Weymouth will start in a hole. We're not even halfway through the first quarter, and it is 14-0 on 2 long bombs that Quincy has completed.
Well, they've held them on. They've made them punt, and they got that punt in the first play they scored. So let's see, just about the same position as it was on the last series. Let's see what that defense can do now.
1st and 10 from Weymouth's own 26. 1 man in the backfield, wide out and a wing. Play action fake. Stanton rolls out, looking to throw, looking long. He's got some receivers open, and it is caught. Complete at the 25, 20, 10, touchdown, no flags, upfield, as Manny Fernandez in a battle hauled it in.
Well, Fernandez, you've been waiting for him, too, to come through. Not much last week, but he came through. There were 3 people around him, and another Weymouth player, I couldn't catch his number, but they just jumped up. The ball, he just wound up, Stan just wound up and threw the ball high, and threw it in a group here about on the 30-yard line. And they all jumped up, and Fernandez came down with it. There were 3 Quincy players and 2 Weymouth players. He hauled it in and hauled it right over that goal line. So, you know, we've had some big plays tonight, Charlie.
That is for sure. And I think the only thing I could fault Quincy for, just maybe that Robbie Kane didn't have enough height there, as Fernandez went up and used a little bit of a height advantage on him.
They all had to kind of come back for the ball, you know, and that throws everybody's stride off, and it just happened to land on his hand. So it was a lucky shot as far as Weymouth are concerned, but I'm sure they'll take it.
63-yard touchdown pass from Stanton to Fernandez has put the Wildcats on the board with 5:03 to go in the first quarter. It is 14-6 here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll bring you the Don Bosco and North Quincy game from Boston College High School. That game, by the way, has been moved back. It was scheduled to start at 1:30, but because BC High is playing in the morning, they have asked that game to be moved back half an hour. So the kickoff will be at 2 o'clock, and we'll have it for you tomorrow afternoon here on WJDA. As the ball is down for the 7th point, and it is good as Mike Taylor adds it, and it is 14-7. Quincy's lead has been cut in half, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. The quote of the night so far, everybody has gotten their $2 worth so far.
Yeah, you got $2 worth already. I'd give another 2 if you get for another. For how long have we played? 5 minutes?
We haven't even played half of the first quarter
10
yet.
minutes?
And we've had 3 touchdowns. Tell you, Coach, we've done some games this year that we haven't had.
No, we had 3-0 ones.
So we haven't had 3 touchdowns in 2 or 3 games.
Down in Weymouth, we had what?
We went 7
quarters.
Yeah, 7 quarters and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Before we had a touchdown.
Well, we got them here tonight.
Yeah,
Throw up another $2.
That was before Weymouth scored because they were shut out by Waltham.
That's right.
North Quincy shut them out for 3 quarters. And the kick from Taylor goes to Robbie Kane at the 15-20. Puts the speed on, 25-35, and down at the 37-yard line is Robbie Kane, and it will be 1st and 10. And this Weymouth Wildcat squad has come right back in this football game, and they are very much alive. And we're going to have a tug of war back and forth, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah, this is just warming up.
Well, I'm sure some of the Weymouth players, the seniors especially, have to remember that last year Weymouth was undefeated, going for the Old Colony League title.
Right.
They had beaten a tough North Quincy squad the week before, and Quincy went down there last year and upset them.
Yeah, they beat them, and they beat them well.
So I'm sure that in the minds of some of the Weymouth players. Dave Bogan gets the handoff straight ahead over the 40 and down at the 42-yard line. It'll be 2nd down for the Quincy Presidents. Joe Kelly, veteran head coach of the Weymouth Wildcats on the far side. Joe is the only original coach when I started doing football 20 years ago. He is the only coach that at least I have association with that is still coaching, but there's an asterisk because he started at Weymouth South.
That's right. He was down there for
So I've outlasted every coach. Well, but Joe Kelly got a second chance. So
that's right. He was down there. So you're the old. What are you trying to tell me? You're getting older? Or, I know.
It's a long story. It's a long story. Noel DeBona that time up to the 45-yard line. Quincy will have a 3rd down and 8.
Well, Joe Kelly played for Weymouth too way back, I think, under Fisher, I believe. He was the quarterback at Weymouth, 50s around that time, I believe. And went on to college and was quite a star.
3rd and 4. Pitch to DeBona. DeBona gets a hold. He's got the 1st down and more, and he's into Weymouth territory at the 49-yard line. Bumped down by Adam Good of the Wildcats. So Quincy this time keeping it on the ground, and they get the 1st down. As Bartlett has a word with Jack Raymer. Now, Bartlett looking back at Raymer for a little clarification on the play as Quincy lines up in the choir boys style huddle, and out they come. Kane to the right. He is not wide. Brian Clifford wing to the right, I formation. Bogan and DeBona, hand off to DeBona, the tailback. 45 down to the 42-yard line. So a gain of about 6 yards right up the middle for Quincy, as the Presidents going right down the throat of the Weymouth front line in this series.
They certainly are. They're running right at that, just off that left side of that Weymouth line, and they're finding a little hole in there. And of course, DeBona is a premier runner. He doesn't go down. He just runs right over you. And he's one of the best, hardest runners in the South Shore, I think. He and Bogan both. And they get a little head of steam. You give them a little room, they'll pick up that yardage.
Play action fake. Here comes Bartlett looking for Kane once again, and he's got it. Complete and down inside the 5-yard line. No flags, back up field, and Robbie Kane hauls it in. It'll be 1st and goal for Quincy, and a touchdown saving tackle was made by Roy Ward of the Weymouth Wildcats, as it would have been a 3rd touchdown for Robbie Kane, but Ward stopped him.
Well, that ball was laid right on his hands, and what an effort Kane made. He just struggled to get it over his shoulder, and there goes DeBona. He should be in there.
It's Bogan.
Bogan, I'm sorry.
For the touchdown on 1st and goal from the 4, as Quincy has struck again with 2:14 to go in the first quarter. It is 20-7 Quincy.
Charlie, I can't say enough about that pass combination with Kane catching that ball. It was a beautiful thrown pass. It was way out in front of him. The man was practically laying, defensive man was practically laying on his back. He just turned his head slightly and pulled that ball in with that man laying on his back. What an outstanding catch.
Kevin Carey to hold DeBona, looking to put the point through. Flag down, and it's into the bus yard again. They're going to run out of balls. Bill Walker's going to have to buy another dozen if they keep this up. But there was a penalty flag, and apparently it will be, it's either against Weymouth.
I think it was against Weymouth.
A procedure against Weymouth, so the point is good. 2:14 to go in the first quarter. It's 21-7. Quincy leading the Weymouth Wildcats, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. (21-7) is our score, and let's go down once again to the field and get an update from Mike Tucker. Mike?
Yeah, Charlie, Wow is right. What's happening here? No, right now, Bartlett is 3 for 3, 146 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and a little tidbit, that was Mark Stanton's first touchdown pass of the year.
Absolutely, as again, if someone had said that it would be week 6 when Mark Stanton would get his first touchdown pass, you'd have them committed to a mental institution. So, Weymouth gets the ball on the kickoff to the 20, up to the 29-yard line. Steve Carasey taken down, and it will be 1st and 10 for the Weymouth Wildcats, who trail by 14 points with 2:07 to go in the first quarter. As I hope the scoreboard lights are all, the bulbs are all in there, because we may need them
tonight.
We
need a lot of numbers up there. I can't believe it's first quarter still.
8 minutes. Not even 8 minutes gone, and there have been 28 points scored in this game.
Well, I'm sure Jack is not worrying too much, as long as we put him up there for him.
Pitch, and now they do the reverse to Fernandez. He fumbles the football and is in trouble. Back at the 10, gets to the 15, and is bumped out of bounds at the 16-yard line by Noel DeBona, as Weymouth tried a little razzle-dazzle on a reverse, and Quincy smelled it out, and Fernandez was in trouble and almost was tackled back at his 10-yard line.
Oh, he sure was. As you said, they tried a little razzle-dazzle reverse, but there was so much penetration by the Quincy defensive line that they couldn't get it off, and lucky they get control of the ball, and Quincy didn't recover.
Loss of 15. It is 2nd down and 25 for the Wildcats at their own 14-yard line. Stanton rolling to his right, looking, has his tight end complete, and up to the 19-yard line, so just a gain of a few yards, 4 yards. Mike Cavanaugh making the stop for Quincy, and it will be 3rd down and 20 for Weymouth, as the Wildcats moving from right to left with the wind at their back here at the stadium in the first quarter. Stanton over with a long talk with Joe Kelly. They're going to have to get this playoff pretty quickly. They just break the huddle now.
It's taking an awful lot of time.
As they come out, Lee Pierce is wide out left side. Stanton back to throw. The right-hander steps up, looking for Pierce. Kane out there with him, and he overthrows him barely as Pierce went down. And no, that was Fernandez, excuse me. No, Fernandez, who leaned out, he and Kane in a foot race, and Fernandez almost came up with it. But it'll be 4th down, and Weymouth will have to punt it away.
Now, Weymouth's got themselves in a real hole right now. Quincy's playing really inspired ball out here. You know, I saw part of the tape last week of Quincy and against Medford, and though they won, they rather looked, you know, like they went into the game. They're not the same team tonight out here.
Oh, did you watch the interview show that was on during the?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Oh, okay. I just wondered. I've heard it's a pretty good show they have. Yeah. All right. Stanton gets it away. Everybody was coming in, and Kane is going to watch this one take a Weymouth bounce and will be down at the 39-yard line. So that's where Quincy will start with 49 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's 21-7. Quincy with the lead will take 30 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Quincy Parents Club is sponsoring a 50-50 raffle. If you buy a chance for $1, and all the winning ticket will be announced during the 4th quarter. If you're the winner, you will take half the money that's been received up to that point. $1 a chance. Open to both Quincy and Weymouth fans.
Bogan with the pitch, and he's got himself close to first down yardage up at the 50-yard line. As he took the pitch, Joe Donovan on the tackle, and it is a 10-yard pickup, and Quincy with the ball just over the line into Weymouth territory at the 49-yard line.
Well, they ran that sweep very well that time. They really did some fine blocking, cut blocking as the men leading the play came around the corner. They just cut the Weymouth legs out of the defenders and picked up a good 10 yards.
First down, Bartlett on the handoff to Bogan, who was on the left side and was hit at the line and taken down. Check it was Brian Clifford who had the ball and was hit at the line by Brian Scott of the Wildcats and knocked back, but they do give him a half a yard to make it a yard on forward progress. 2nd down.
Well, I want to go back and say one thing, Charlie, and I should have brought it up earlier. I was at before the before the 2 passes that Quincy thrown, actually 3 now, but in the beginning of the ball game, Weymouth had their whole team right up on the line of scrimmage. They had really 7 men up, and they had their safeties rolled way up there, only 6 or 7 yards. In other words, they were saying Quincy hasn't got a passing game, and you know, Jack, you know,
to his
credit, he just said, hey, if you don't respect our passing, we're going to show you what we can do. And they burnt Weymouth 3 times now on the passing game. But the first 2 times, you know, Weymouth just said, okay, here we come. We can't pass the ball. And Jack and the quarterback, Kane, they just threw it right back down their throat. So Weymouth had a little bit of fault on their own there. And quick thinking on Jack's part and his coaching staff, they hit them right where they were the weakest.
We have completed our first quarter. I bet you thought it would never come. It's 21-7. Quincy with the lead. We'll be back in 60 seconds.